She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another day and she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace. She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another day and she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace.
Hello, litigators and opinionators. Court is now in session. So many shocking details have been unfolding about this very, very sad case, man, that happened out in Mexico with this young lady who went to get the tummy tuck. So I had to come on here and talk about these details. There's actually some actual video footage of the young lady who survived, Latavia and Eric Wise, in the back of the medical vehicle. So I want to get into this, you guys. It is so sad, man. They said it's crazy. It feels like a movie or something. A cousin of 33-year-old Latavia Tay McGee told the Daily Beast. And sadly, one of these people didn't make it. And this young man who's the cousin of Latavia, he did not make it. This is so freaking sad. So 2 of the 4 Americans who were kidnapped after driving across the border in northeastern Mexico were rescued from a rural house on Tuesday after being bound. They were taped, guys. This is the details. They were bound with tape. And Eric Wise was shot in the leg, and he was transferred from place to place to create confusion. So when they were kidnapped, they were moved around to different locations so that they could create confusion about where their location was. This was pretty terrifying for them, according to local reports and official accounts. Oh my gosh, guys, just knowing that their hands were bound and taped up and just they were transferred all these places, especially thinking about Eric and how he was already shot in the leg, being moved and transported all these places with no medical treatment. Oh my God, I hope his leg is not infected, y'all. Latavia Tay McGee, 33, a Myrtle Beach resident, mother of 6, reportedly traveled from South Carolina to Matamoros in Tamaulipas state for a tummy tuck last week. She and the 3 others who accompanied her to split, they accompanied her basically to split up the driving because it was going to be a very long drive. And so they wanted to come with her just to split up the driving. They were all very close friends, according to her family. They were identified by family members as Indell Brown, who is now deceased, Shaid Wouard, who is her cousin, Latavia's cousin, is now deceased, and Eric James Williams, who was shot in the leg. He was injured. However, they were ambushed in Matamoros by gunmen who shot up their minivan before taking them hostage. Brown and Woodard were unalived, as sad as it is. McGee, who was not seriously injured, and Williams, who was shot in the leg, were rescued on Tuesday morning. So they have been in the custody of the cartel all the way since Friday. That's several days. That means they were being in custody with these psychopaths, man, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Oh my gosh. I wonder if it looked like she hadn't ate in a while. No drink, no food or anything, no water. She looked like she was just like malnourished. I mean, I know it's only 3 days, y'all, but she just looked, the way she looked, it looked like they hadn't really been taking care of her. I'm just saying. So who was shot in the leg were rescued on Tuesday morning. Irving Burroughs, the attorney general for Tamaulipas, said they since been driven back into Texas to be treated at a hospital. It's crazy. It's shocking. It feels like a movie or something. McGee's cousin, Hapquan, I can't say these people's names, Burgess told the Daily Beast on Tuesday from his home in Lake City, South Carolina. He said McGee had even visited the same area last year without encountering any trouble. So you see, it looks like this woman had gone here before. That's why she felt so comfortable going again, because when she went last year, she didn't have any issues. So she just thought it was going to be the same, go there, no problems. But things have since changed over there, which is why the United States has issued this recent travel advisory, because there's been this ongoing war that has started over there with the drug cartel, and they have been, warring with other drug cartel individuals. So it's not as it was last year. They said it doesn't even feel real. I'm still in shock. I believe it, but it's still kind of hard to believe. All 4 Americans were found at a house in a rural area in Tamaulipas. So that's where they were found. Burrell said the bodies of Woodard and Brown will remain in Mexico for examination before returning stateside. So they're undergoing an autopsy at this time. They might have already finished that by now. Several hours have already passed. This article was written several hours ago. This is the scene where authorities rescued 2 of the kidnapped Americans and found the bodies of 2 more. So this is the actual house, guys. Right here is the actual location where their bodies were found and where the 2 live kidnapped victims were located. Man, oh man, they must have been terrified. You can't imagine. And imagine the language barrier. So they don't even know what these people are saying. It must have been terrifying. Burrell said they had arrested a 24-year-old Mexican national identified as Jose Guadalupe N. So he was the only one arrested out of all those individuals we've seen in that truck I just don't find this to be legitimate. I think they just gave this guy up as kind of like, just to make it appear as though, or a facade to make it look like they're doing something, but they're probably going to let Jose go. That's what I think. Because how they only find 1 person? Seriously, no, they gave that guy up. They were like, you're going to have to go in there and pretend like, you're in custody, but we'll get you out. We're just going to use the money we got from them to pay the authorities, basically, because they all work together. That's just my opinion, y'all. So he was the one that was arrested, and he was arrested because he was the one that was guarding the house. So when they got there, that's why he was arrested, because he was the one that was there guarding the house. Authorities have not said if he's a part of the violent Gulf cartel that operates in the region. Investigators are looking for other assailants, including those who moved the group around Tamaulipas to evade authorities. So like I said, they had been moved around like it was musical chairs to different buildings to try to evade authorities until they were eventually caught at this house where this 24-year-old Mexican man was sitting here, Jose Guadalupe, was watching and guarding the house. That's kind of how it was going on. Poor people. So imagine they're moving around 2 deceased bodies to different buildings. Isn't that crazy, y'all? And you seen how rough they were with the bodies when they were putting them in that truck. So imagine how rough they were when they were moving them around and transporting them to different buildings. My gosh. Crazy, huh, guys? This story is just insane. It sounds like something out of a movie. The 4 people were transferred to different places, including a clinic, in order to create confusion and avoid rescue efforts, Tamaulipas Governor Miracle Valero said Tuesday. Wow, they were also moved to a clinic? Interesting. Wouldn't you think they'd get caught if they were taken to a clinic? That's interesting. Very interesting, right? Photos from the rescue that was posted online by Elise Noticias appeared to show officers removing restraints from McGee because she was taped up. It was like they were taking tape off her. In a separate video taken at the scene, Williams can be seen in the back of an ambulance receiving oxygen, but seemingly alert. So here is one of the videos that we're going to be playing where you could see Eric Williams in there, and you're also going to be able to see the young lady. She's in there too. She looks very traumatized, y'all. Let's play this video. Okay, I don't know if you guys seen that, so I will play that again. Eric surprisingly looks very calm in the video. The young lady looks like she is absolutely terrified. Absolutely, like her facial expressions looks like she's seen a ghost. Right, it is pretty unbelievable, isn't it? Oh my God. I know he does sound like the Fall Guy, doesn't he, Seneca? I hope I'm saying your name right, sweetie. He does sound like he is the Fall Guy. That's what he sounds like. I'm glad you brought that up, that term up. But let's watch it again. Eric Williams surprisingly looks very calm. That is a very brave, bold man. He was the one shot in the leg. And then, but the young lady, she looks like she saw a complete ghost. Let's watch this video again. Just a second. Let me. Man, guys, can you guys imagine being in a terrifying situation like this and losing people you know, like you're really close to? This is sad. So these are the two American survivors who were wanted in Montemeros. They are taken to the U.S. by the Los Tomates Bridge. All these terms. But this is crazy, y'all. Like, my gosh. So Burgess 31 is okay. At first they said this girl was who is Burgess? Okay, sorry. Burgess is 31 is also Woodard's cousin. Okay, so this is a young lady who's just speaking. She wasn't there, but she's Woodard's cousin. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Woodard died. No. He told the Daily Beast, right now, Burgess, like everyone else in the family, is waiting for more information about what exactly happened. So they don't. I don't think anybody's going to know what happened. I mean, everybody kind of knows they got ambushed and shot up, but I mean, we kind of going to have to speculate what happened. They were targeted because they had the American license plates. If that's not the case, they were a mistaken identity like they allege, but who knows? Who really knows? It sounds like a ransom to me. They probably got paid a pretty hefty amount of money. They got paid that $7,000, right? But remember how the FBI said 50,000 if they're back alive. So, they probably was going to take them out and unalive them, but they were like, you know what, that 50 grand sound kind of good. Let's go ahead and get these ones and preserve the ones we have. But the part I found disturbing is they were transporting them around these different buildings. So they're moving these deceased bodies around. That's just crazy, guys. That part I can't understand, It's crazy. This person said, Burgess said, I never expected this. He told the Daily Beast until I got that video. I was like, oh Lord, it's for real now. Because like I said, mind you, this young lady went to this same area last year and didn't have any issues. So they didn't expect for it to be bad, even though her mom warned her and told her not to go. But, she thinking, oh, I went last year, nothing happened, I'm good. But, things have changed. The four entered Mexico near Brownsville, Texas last Friday, crossing into Tamaulipas into a white minivan with North Carolina plates, according to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. Gunmen then opened fire on their car immediately, y'all, as soon as they got in there, unaliving a Mexican woman identified as an innocent bystander who was a block and a half away. So an innocent woman got shot up and killed too. That's sad. A graphic video obtained by Mexican newscast Teledero, verified by Reuters, appeared to show the kidnappers when loading the four friends into the bed of a white pickup truck in broad daylight. Two of the friends' lifeless bodies had to be dragged onto the bed. So I think those two deceased individuals already died at that scene. They were already dead. They didn't die slowly. They died immediately. It says the friends were targeted in a case of mistaken identity, allegedly. I still just don't believe that, but y'all let me know if you guys agree with it. An unnamed U.S. official told in CNN, saying the four may have been erroneously ID'd by cartel members as Haitian drug smugglers. And that could be a good point, you guys, because people are saying and the authorities are alleging that the cartel doesn't want to kidnap American citizens at this time because they don't want to be targeted by the FBI. They just are trying to be low profile. So they really wouldn't intentionally target a U.S. citizen just because they don't want to try to raise the eyebrows of FBI and then get the FBI to start investigating them. So, that could be true. That could be true. I'm not going to keep dismissing it. I mean, at first I thought it was not valid, but, the point that the officials are saying is that cartel really is not trying to pick an issue with the FBI because they're trying to be low profile, which doesn't make sense because they're over here shooting people left and right and having these wars. Doesn't seem to be so low profile, but they do run that area. Cartel runs that whole area. Shoot, not the law enforcement, it's the cartel that runs that area. For his part, Burgess told the Daily Beast he heard the group had been watched from the time they crossed into Mexico, y'all. See, they were already being surveyed right when they crossed in. And they're black too. And we already looked at one of their Facebooks yesterday. And he kind of dressed dressed the way he dressed. I'm just saying, I could see how they could mistake him. And it said they became lost while driving to their medical appointment, something another close friend told CNN on Tuesday. Okay, so these are more details, y'all. Like I said, this article is giving us some details. They're saying they were being watched from the time they crossed into Mexico border, and they were lost. So it looks like they got lost trying to find that doctor's office, and that's when they kind of started getting suspicious with these drug cartel, because they were like, "Who is this weird van with these license plates driving around here, just looking around like they're loitering, they're kind of loitering, basically just going around, shouldn't be going around." What's interesting too, though, is based upon the news reporters out there, they're saying in that particular area, a lot of Texans and other individuals always cross that border to go get medicine because medicine is more affordable over there. They get all kinds of medicine that would normally be prescribed, that doesn't need to be prescribed in Mexico. They go there all the time, cross the border, get the affordable medication, and come back over the border. So, and the reporter that indicated that he had video footage at that very moment today of lots of traffic going into that border. So I'm like, I don't know, man. It sounded like they were targeted. It sounds like they saw them in that car. They were black. They look kind of rough around the edges. And it was like, these look like drug dealer people. They probably did think they were drug smugglers. That makes sense to me. You know what? I'm starting to believe that is the theory. At first, I didn't want to believe it, but it's starting to sound like it's legitimate, y'all. It is. As I talk it out, it sounds legitimate. But it looks like, yeah, they got lost while they were driving to their medical appointment. And so, that's what one of the close friends said. They said, when I reached out to the doctor's office, they told me that Latavia had reached out to them to ask them for directions because she was lost. Okay. So see, the doctor was saying that she got lost too. The unnamed friend told CNN, they sent me a screenshot of the messages and they said they sent her the address and asked her if she was using a GPS. Burgess described his relationship with Woodard and McGee as more like siblings, as they all grew up together. Okay, they were all very close. This is very sad. He is also friendly with Brown and Williams. He said the Daily Beast, calling them all laid back people who are good-hearted and stay themselves. Wow, that is messed up. Just good, wholesome people. But that's sad, but I'm telling y'all got to do your research. Do your research before you go to these areas. And, even if you went to an area last year and you thought it was safe and nothing happened to you last year, things are subject to change. Things are always changing, guys, and evolving. So you can't just rely upon a trip you did last year or a year before that or 15 years ago. You got to always be checking to see what the current status is. As you can see, the status in this area changed tremendously because there's ongoing war with drug cartels and others, going back and forth. And they're watching that border because, they want to be the only individuals reigning and ruling as it relates to the drug trade. And they don't want anybody coming in there as their competitor. So they're going to be watching that border left and right. So it's starting to make sense for why they targeted them, guys. It is starting to make sense. When Burgess first heard about the kidnapping, he couldn't imagine it was actually true. The news came via a phone call from his mom. Burgess said, they said that the doctor had called and said she never made it to her appointment, he recalled on Tuesday. I was like, man, she ain't missing. I wasn't sweating it. And I started getting text messages. Hey, man, you ain't seen what happened? And that's when I got the video, and that's when I believed it. A distraught friend of McGee's, Anne Mariah Roman, said on a social media that she was the last person to see McGee before she left town. Roman declined to comment when reached Monday night by the Daily Beast. Zindel was wary about traveling to Mexico. His sister, Zalandrea, told the Associated Press. So Zindel Brown, who has since passed away, he went on the trip. He felt really uneasy about going in the first place. And I had a photo of him. Let me show you another photo of Zindel. Zindel had a bad intuition. And what's also very sad about this situation is that Zindel's sister had a bad dream too. She had a vision that something was going to happen. And so during this trip there, she kept calling him And she told him, she said, I have this bad dream about this trip, and I don't feel good. That's why I'm calling to check on you to see how you're doing. So she kept, calling to see what was going on because she had a dream. Isn't that sad, y'all? Like, she knew this was going to happen. That's the worst part about it. When you have a vision that something's going to happen and then it happens. Okay, my internet's acting weird. I'm getting annoyed. I'll show you the picture a little later once it loads. Zendel kept saying we shouldn't go down, he said. She said, wow, guys, he told his sister, he said we shouldn't go down. Why did he go then? He knew something was going to happen and now he's dead. That is so freaking sad, y'all. It irritates me. Man, I'm so sad this man lost his life. He knew something was going to happen. And here's her on her post from Facebook here that she posted here, Big Tay. She was trying to get, snatched her tummy tuck. What, girl? See, you caused all these people to die. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but still, going down there and endangering all these people. They were so loving and supportive of this girl. The U.S. State Department cautions Americans from visiting Thermopolis at all. Warning, do not travel due to crime and kidnapping. Organized crime activity, including gun battles, murder, armed robbery, carjacking, kidnapping, forced disappearances, extortion, and sexual assault is common along the northern border and in Ciudad Victoria. The State Department website reads, criminal groups target public and private passenger buses, as well as private automobiles traveling through Thermopolis, often taking passengers and demanding ransom payments. So they were definitely targeted. Whether they were mistaken identity, I don't think it matters, because this statement here from the U.S. government is saying that these particular individuals do target private vehicles, and they were driving in a private vehicle with U.S. license plates. So off the bat, they were already being surveyed and already about to get shot up right when they hit the ground, right when they hit into that border, y'all. They were shot up because they were being watched that whole time. There's drug cartel lines up at that border, guys, just sitting there waiting for any weird cars, any private automobiles, private, like they said, private passenger buses, stuff like that. They're looking for cars ready to go to target these cars. So that car was definitely the intended target. What was the underlying motive? We don't know that, but either way, I know they got paid too. You know that little $50,000 they was offering the FBI? The FBI had to cough that up to get them back safe. Because and who knows if they would have coughed up more, because based upon some professionals over there and experts, they say that a lot of these drug cartels ask for millions of dollars. So who knows how much they ended up getting paid, but they got paid way more than the $7,000 that young lady had to give up. She had to give up that $7,000, and plus whatever the government officials paid to get those two back alive and get the other two bodies back to the U.S. Because I'm telling you, if they did not get any money, and we wouldn't see a good result. And guys, I think that guy was the fall person regardless, even though he was there protecting the area. Because like I said, my theory is that the Mexican government is working in unison with the cartel. So they already knew where these people were from the get-go. And they're getting paid too, because everybody's getting paid. So even though the cartel is the kind of the individuals that are the perpetrators, the Mexican government's in on it too. So they're all getting some type of slice of the money. That's why they ask for large amounts of money. In my humble opinion, this is just a theory, y'all. I don't know for sure. I'm just telling you my thoughts, okay? My thoughts are, I bet you the FBI had to cough up some money to make sure they got back here safe. And that money got divided amongst the government. And in my opinion, I think the Mexican government already knew where those individuals were. They were already in communications with cartel. And cartel was already telling them where they were moving to those different places during those different days until they got, they were starting to talk to the U.S. about a money offer. And then once, they wanted to do the transaction, all the other drug cartel, they abandoned that house, left them there and the bodies there, because of course the deal was, we'll pay you if all 4 bodies are returned back to us, dead or alive. We want all of them. Basically, the award was that they come back alive, because that's what they wanted. But I think there was underlying negotiations too, because A lot of times the US is not going to tell us everything that's going on under the table. They're not going to tell us everything. So I'm thinking there was some under the table talks of we want all bodies live or dead. Well, of course we want them alive. Okay. But if you have anybody that's not alive, we want those bodies too. And we'll exchange this monetary money in exchange. And I think what happened was they went to the last house there and they had that guy pretend to be a guard guy, but they really were going to use him as the fall guy to make it look like in the public, oh, we arrested somebody, when in reality, that guy is going to end up getting released. They're just making it look like he's arrested. That man is going to get released. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe he will be the fall guy ultimately, and they might just prosecute him. But I'm just saying, the drug cartel and that Mexican government work together, and the drug cartel runs that whole area. So I'm just saying it definitely was a money grab. They got not only $7,000, they got a lot more money than that in this whole transaction. That is what my humble opinion is saying. I want to know what y'all humble opinion is also, because I know you guys have some valid theories too. The area is controlled by the drug cartel or the Gulf cartel, a group responsible for countless drug-fueled kidnappings and murders, y'all. And this was a kidnapping. This is like a bad dream you wish you could wake up from, Zalandria Brown told the AP. To see a member of your family thrown in the back of a truck and dragged is just unbelievable. And here is another photo here. Let's play this. Oh, this video we have seen already. This is one of the victims that is now no longer with us. This is Zaid. Oh my God, what a precious soul, is no longer here. He is gone now. That is so sad to see him alive here, just not here anymore. That's messed up. This person said, "You've been my daddy for 7.5 years. When I first seen you, I asked my mama who that ugly man is getting out of my brother's car. She said that was my new man. And I said, no, it's not. I don't like you at first. I didn't like you at first because I didn't want my mama to get hurt again. But you came and loved her and her kids, even the grandkids. Just please come back, Daddy. We waiting on you. I miss our late night snacking. I love you, Shaid Woodard." So yeah, that was a young boy or a kid that was the step kid of this man. He kind of took on this woman's kids as his own. And this step kid here really loved this man and is very probably distraught knowing that he's not going to come back. That's messed up. A Matamoros resident interviewed by AP said she witnessed the abduction, which she said occurred after the group's minivan was hit by another vehicle at an intersection. See, I told you guys, this was a play-by-play hit. This was all orchestrated. A car hits their car first, then shots fired. Yeah, guys, this sounds like a play-by-play. It sounds like a football play. You know how, when they have a coach and the team gets together and they all bunch together in a group and they say, okay, you're going to go run here, you're going to run there, you're going to throw the ball to that person, and then you're going to make the touchdown. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the drug cartel all got together and said, okay, you're going to drive this car, you're going to crash into the car, then we're going to all start immediately shooting at the car, we're going to ambush the car, then we're going to drag them out, then we're going to, whoever's alive or dead, we're going to put them in that back of the truck, and we're going to kidnap these people, and we're going to get it paid. That's what that sounded like to me. This was definitely a planned hit. Now, I still have questions about that doctor, guys. For some reason, I feel like that doctor is in on the whole thing. I feel like the doctor somehow is working with the drug cartel. That's a drug cartel area. I just feel that, guys. Y'all let me know what you guys think about that doctor. Is he shady, or you think he's just an innocent person involved in this? For some reason, y'all, I feel like the doctor warned the cartel that there was going to be a big money grab coming into that area, because he charged $5,000 and then, she brought her other extra $2,000, I guess, for, money to get around in Mexico. But yeah, guys, I just feel weird. I just feel really weird about that doctor. So shots were then fired as an SUV pulled up and discharged a band of armed men, the women said. Yeah, this was a straight hit. This was all planned out. It sounds like it. All of a sudden, the gunmen were in front of us, she told the news. I entered a state of shock. Nobody honked their horn. Nobody moved. Everybody must have been thinking the same thing. If we move, they will see us or they might shoot us. A Matamoros resident interviewed by the AP said she witnessed the abduction, which she said after the group's minivan was hit by another vehicle at the intersection. Shots were fired at the end of the SUV. Those responsible are going to be found, Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador said in a press conference on Tuesday. They are going to be punished. Guys, do you believe this Mexican president? Let me know if y'all believe him. Put in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you believe that this president is right, that they're going to be found and be punished. Put a 2 in the chat if you think this is a bunch of BS, that he's just straight lying and he's probably working with the drug cartel. I'm curious of the votes that I'm going to get from that, y'all. I also want to take a look at this other article because this other article had some other details too. It's a more recent article. So I'm trying to get as much details on this as we can because this case was absolutely crazy, y'all. It was just so crazy that there's just, now look at this vehicle, y'all. Take a look. This was the scene over here in Mexico. Let's play this video, y'all. Actually, let me play this video.
Traveled to that town in the first place. We begin tonight with the horror discovered in Mexico. 2 Americans found shot and killed, 2 other Americans with them surviving in the same house with one of those victims killed. All 4 Americans crossing from Texas into Mexico in a minivan, coming under fire and kidnapped. U.S. and Mexican authorities launching a desperate search. The violent incident caught on surveillance. Heavily armed men could be seen pulling the Americans from the car, one seen being tossed into the back of a truck. Their white minivan, the windshield shattered, a bullet hole in the driver's side window. Mexico deploying police and armed vehicles on the streets of Matamoros. This morning, that gruesome discovery, the 2 survivors transported away in an ambulance under heavy guard back to the United States. Tonight here we have news on their conditions and why they traveled to that town in the first place. ABC's Matt Rivers leading us off. He's in Mexico tonight.
Tonight, 2 Americans have been found alive and are now back safe in the U.S. after this horrific kidnapping at gunpoint in a Mexican border city captured on video. You can see at least one of the survivors in the back of that pickup truck.
2 U.S. citizens were returned to the United States. The bodies of 2 other U.S. citizens killed in the same incident were also recovered.
A convoy transporting the 2 survivors to the border near Brownsville, Texas. This is the moment the 2 victims made it back to U.S. soil and a waiting ambulance. Tonight, Barbara Burgess tells ABC News her daughter, mother of 5, Latavia Tay McGee, is one of the survivors.
I had to hold them all. I was thanking the Lord. I said, thank you, Jesus, that there is a God.
Her mother says she has no major injuries. And tonight, the wife of McGee's friend, Eric James Williams, says he had surgery in Texas for gunshot wounds to both legs.
It was just tears of joy, I guess, that he's alive.
The other 2 members of the group, Shahid Woodward and Zindell Brown, killed during the kidnapping. Their bodies now headed back to the U.S. Tonight, Mexican officials outlining the 3-day search that led authorities to a wooden house outside of Matamoros. They say the survivors and the dead were at the same location. According to her family, McGee traveled with others from Lake City, South Carolina to Mexico to get cosmetic surgery. When the 4 crossed into Matamoros on Friday, her family says armed gunmen in body armor chased them, opening fire on their white minivan. The gunmen then kidnapping the group. A Mexican bystander also killed. Mexican officials say it was a case of mistaken identity. A source close to the investigation telling ABC News that investigators believe the gunmen may have targeted the vehicle because they wrongly believed the group of Americans were rival human traffickers.
So let's bring in Matt Rivers again tonight. Matt, we know this is an area filled with organized crime. The U.S. again warning Americans about traveling to this part of Mexico. Have authorities made any progress tonight in finding out who might be responsible for this?
And David, officials not saying if organized crime was definitively involved here, but they have detained one person they say was acting as a lookout at the house where these kidnapping suspects were ultimately found. But really, this investigation just in its infancy right now. David, more arrests could be coming soon.
All right. Matt Rivers leading us off from Mexico City tonight. Matt, thank you.
The young lady, too, that was speaking on behalf, the lady with the red hair, that's the wife of Eric. He's actually married. So that was his wife. So they have now been returned to the U.S. I'm so happy they're back. But this is just crazy, y'all. This should be a lesson to all y'all. And they trying to claim it's Oh, it's just a misunderstanding. I don't know, man. I keep going back and forth whether I believe it or not. But here's a photo. Here's another photo of the house where they were staying at, the last house. You know how they were moved around? Well, this was the final house that they were at when the authorities found them at this little small. Look how small that was. My God. Dang, I know they were scared, especially if you've never been through nothing as traumatic as this. A general view of a storage shed behind a police cart. See, guys, this was a setup. Look at this, guys. That is a general storage shed behind a police cordon at the scene where authorities found the bodies of 2 of 4 Americans kidnapped by gunmen in Montemorelos. Guys, this was right. But why would the drug cartel? They sound like they intentionally put them in this shed so that the cops could find them. It's like they all were working in unison with the officers, the Mexican officers, and the government. They bring them to a shed behind the police cordon. They were really trying to get caught. They literally, it's like they talked to the officers and they were like, all right, we want this amount of money. Tell the U.S. officials we want this kind of money right now. And we're gonna go ahead and make a transaction. We'll drop the body off over here behind the police cordon. Because, like, guys, really, that guy, now it really makes sense that 24-year-old who was allegedly the guard was a fall guy. He already knew he was about to get arrested, because why would you take them to a shed right behind the police? Yep, guys, this is straight. They are all working together with the Mexican officers, the government. Everybody got a payday. Everybody got paid. Even that governor over there got paid. Everybody got a piece of that money, which means when it was divided that much, they probably didn't get much, which is why they would be asking for a lot more than 50 grand. I'm just saying, because 50 grand is not going to cut it when you got to pay all the drug cartel over there, the Gulf cartel. Then you got to pay the officers. Then you got to pay the governor or whoever. Then you got to pay whoever else is involved. Yes, this sounds weird, doesn't it, y'all? My gosh, this is crazy. That's the wooden house I was telling you. It was in La Gornora area outside of Matamoros. That's where they were found in that house. Guys, so now here's some details of where exactly the bodies were found. So one of the deceased was found inside the house. One of them was. The second one was found outside the house. A source close to the investigation told ABC News. So they kind of just threw them around like they were cargo. They tossed one of them in, the dead one in the house, and then the one of them just outside, just like he was nothing. And then Eric Williams, as we talked about, he had a gunshot wound to his legs, and they shot up both his legs. That's messed up. I hope he can walk after this. And I'm glad that he's alive, man, because he has kids. He has a wife. We already saw her wife, the young lady with the red hair, short red hair. That was his wife. So I'm just happy that he's alive, because we actually went over his Facebook yesterday, and he has a lot of kids. So, and his kid actually prayed to Allah that God would bring him back alive. So maybe that little kid's prayer, his son's prayer, I don't know if his son or daughter's prayer, his child's prayer is what saved his life. He might be one to go back and thank the Lord and his kid for praying, because that little kid, based on the Facebook post that I read to you guys yesterday, he prayed to Allah for his father to come home. And shoot, it worked. That prayer worked. I'm telling you, little kids' prayers, little babies might save your life with a prayer. So here was the press conference they had. Here is a photo of that press conference where we had the Mexican officials over here trying to act as though they being Mr. Hero, when this, in my opinion, was all facilitated. Notice how quickly they found these individuals. That's why I said I know it was a planned intention to drop them off at that shed right near the police office. Okay, it's like they all kind of they talked to the officers, talked to the governor, was like, we're gonna go ahead and drop them over here after they made a decision or an agreement with the amount of money they wanted. That's what I'm saying. I feel that's what happened, because the U.S. is not going to tell us. They never tell us the truth, the full truth. I'm just saying they don't, because I remember a similar tragedy happened in Haiti, where there was a group of individuals I think they were missionaries. They went to Haiti over there to do some missionary work, and they got kidnapped, and it was all over the news. And, they were asking for a certain amount of money, and it went very quiet. The authorities talked about it, the U.S. officials talked about it in a press conference, and then you didn't hear anything about it ever again until they ended up being brought back to the U.S. And even then, when they were returned to the U.S., it wasn't as publicized. It's kind of like they kept it under the rug. Like, it's like whatever agreement they had with the Haitians, they didn't want it to be disclosed. It was like very, very under the rug. And the only reason why I found out that they got back to the America, because I did some digging and I was like, oh, I found out from their family they were back. But they were back, but it wasn't really publicized like that. So I'm saying, based on that experience, what I'm seeing, it seems like the US, they don't be telling us everything. They be trying to give us some of the information, y'all. I think they wanted to publicly say, hey, we're willing to pay 50 grand for people to be back alive to preserve those individuals so that they could live. Thank you, Lord. It feels like the US really moved fast this time, which I'm very happy they did. But who knows? They might have given them way more than 50 grand. I'm just saying way more than 50 grand. That's just what I'm saying. So again, this is a actual photo of all the Mexican government officials here talking about the incident, trying to act like they're legitimate, but y'all know, I don't know if I believe them. Images of the place where 4 Americans were found are shown in screens during a press conference to give details after 2 American citizens were found deceased in Matamoros, Tamaulipas on March 7th in Mexico City. So you can see here as they're doing the press conference on these 2 screens here, we can't really see it well because it's kind of shoddy images, but they're showing the images where they found these victims, which again, I know they probably talked to those cartel and told them to drop them off there. I'm just saying. During the 3 days they were held, dang, they were held for 3 days. That's 3 days is too much for me. I'm just saying, if I were them, 3 days is way too much. The Americans were transferred to various places, including a clinic, in order to create confusion. Oh, we already talked about this. One of the survivors, McGee's mother, is, oh, okay, guys. So here's some more details about Latavia. Now, I told you guys, Latavia, that she had kids. Well, it turns out she's a mother of 5. So she has 5 children. So I am thanking the Lord himself for preserving this girl for her 5 kids, because I know this woman's mom could not be able to take care of all 5 of those kids, y'all. God is so good that he kept these people alive, even though it's sad that the other 2 died. Man, that's messed up. It's still a sad story all around because 2 people died, but you know, at least this mother of 5 is still alive. But girl, she needs to think differently. She got to realize you got to stay alive for not just yourself, but for your kids. You got to think differently and move differently when you have kids. And putting yourself first for a cosmetic surgery over a tummy tuck was not worth it. Just eat healthy, because at the end of the day, even if she gets the tummy tuck, right, and she keeps going back to eating fried chicken and all them foods she eating, macaroni and all that, she gonna be back to have the weight anyway. So it's like, just change your lifestyle, girl. Change your lifestyle. Now, her mother, Barbara Burgess, told ABC News, she had to hold my heart when the FBI came to her home on Tuesday with the news her daughter was alive. McGee spoke to her mother from a Texas hospital on Tuesday and told her mother she had no major injuries. Thank you, Jesus. Williams, the second survivor, called his wife, Michelle Williams, as he was being transported to a Texas hospital. She told ABC News. It was tears, just tears of joy, she said. Michelle Williams said the FBI told her that her husband had been shot twice in one leg and once in the other. Wow, guys. So he was shot 3 times. And we saw that video of him in the back of that ambulance, and he looked so calm. He looked like he was just chilling in the back. Oh, man, either that man is a very strong man, or I don't know what else to say. That is incredible. If I was shot 3 times, I would be over there moaning and crying. I don't know. They must have had him on some really good drugs, y'all. I don't know. But that's crazy how calm he was in the back of that ambulance. So he has underwent surgery in Texas for his wounds, she said. So, dang, even underwent surgery and he still looks so relaxed. Man, Eric's is one brave man, I can tell you that. The surviving victims were transported to the port of entry in Brownsville, where they are receiving another additional medical care at a local hospital. The FBI said in a statement, one of the victims sustained serious bodily injuries during the attack. Well, even though they were so serious, y'all, in that video we saw why he looked so relaxed, like he wasn't even harmed at all. Dang, that man is brave. Because I'm telling you, if I would have been crying all kind. I don't know. They must have had him on some really good drugs, y'all. I don't know. They said he had serious injuries, but he was just chilling in the back. Like, dang, but I still feel so sad when I saw him. I'm glad he's alive. They said this is still an ongoing criminal investigation, the FBI said, adding that it is working with federal and international partners to determine the facts of what happened to hold those responsible for this horrific and violent attack accountable for their crimes. Now, the FBI seems so very adamant and very, very, very active in this case. Don't you notice? Oh, they're very quick to work this case. They just jumped the gun. They were on it. Now, why are they so lax and asleep when it comes to Shanquella's case? Because I don't hear a peep out of the FBI when it comes to this case. They just dropped the complete ball in this case with Shanquella. So I'm really trying to side eye right now the FBI with how they're just selectively being so attentive. Why? I mean, I'm glad they were very attentive in this case because they might have saved those other two victims' lives. Thank you. Hallelujah, Jesus. But at the same time, I'm like, why don't you give that same energy to Shanquella? Because you're not even giving anything. I don't hear a peep. I don't hear a squeak. Can I get a toot toot? Can I get a beep beep from the FBI? I don't hear nothing from the FBI when it comes to Shanquella. Seriously. FBI is getting on my nerves because one minute they just all up in arms about this case, but they're not doing anything about our lovely Shanquella Robinson. They making me mad. They're making me real mad. So here's a photo here of the state police. These fake, I don't have anything to say about these fake officers because I feel like they're just as much involved. State police officers keep watch at the scene where authorities found the bodies of 2 of 4 Americans kidnapped by gunmen in Matamoros March 7th. So this was an actual footage of the police over here that was keeping watch, supposedly trying to protect the victims involved here. And here's another photo here. Thermopolis Attorney General Office personnel, they walk at the scene where authorities found the bodies of 2 of 4 Americans kidnapped by gunmen in Matamoros. So they're walking over there, just kind of looking around, surveying the situation, allegedly trying to investigate it. And now, guys, right now with those 2 bodies, man, Woodard and Zendel, that's messed up. And just to think that Zendel had bad intuition about this, that's the part that really takes me out, y'all, that Zendel felt something was going to happen, man. And then he dies. Y'all need to listen to your intuition. If your intuition or your mother or your parents or somebody tells you don't go somewhere, don't do it. Just don't do it. Listen, because there's always a reason. So those 2 bodies of the deceased Americans, they're going to be transferred to the U.S. on Tuesday. That's what the Mexican officials said. So they should be on their way back now. They were basically undergoing an autopsy. And they said that the State Department is in the process of getting these bodies, and autopsies will be conducted on the 2 victims who were unalived, a source close to the investigation said. National Security Council spokesman told John Kirby told reporters Tuesday, "We offer our deepest condolences to the friends and families of those that were unalived." That is messed up. A woman carried to the back of the white pickup truck is still in the still image from social media video that shows the kidnapping. And you already know it's very sad because there was a part of that video where they're dragging a dead body. That is crazy. Now, Price said, "We thank our Mexican and U.S. law enforcement partners for their efforts to find these innocent victims, and the task forward is to ensure justice is done." President Joe Biden, I got to applaud President Joe Biden and his team because they moved pretty fast. They did a good job. They moved fast. They saved at least 2 of these lives, and they got the other 2 bodies back. And, you know, a lot of times with the Gulf Cartel, we don't see good endings like this, at least with 2 people being alive. So I got to applaud him that he did his due diligence. But I'm hoping that he shows that same energy to Shanquella because it's been 5 months and they just kind of abandoned this girl. And I don't see any legitimate reason at this point because they can easily take jurisdiction, as the Mexican officials have said. Now, what I felt was kind of sketchy about that Shanquella case, though, is the Mexican officials claim that they filled out the paperwork in February. February seems quite late. that means Mexico was twiddling their fingers too. They're not all innocent. February, how come they didn't finish the paperwork back in November when this whole thing went down, when we had the video released? Why'd they wait to February to fill out the paperwork? So yeah, Mexico's not all innocent in that Shanquella case either. Okay. So yeah, both of them are wrong. Both sides are wrong in that Shanquella case. And I'm really frustrated with that. But it shows here with this case that we're talking about right now, that Joe Biden and the FBI and all them, they know how to move swiftly. So why aren't they doing that with Shanquella's case? I'm frustrated with them. Sorry, y'all. I'm just kind of jumping around these topics. Jean Pierre called attacks on U.S. citizens unacceptable. Unacceptable. Okay. Now, this Jean Pierre, okay, unacceptable. Her little unacceptable. What is that going to do? This is unacceptable. Girl, bye. It's more than just unacceptable. You act like two little kids who are fighting over a piece of candy and you're saying, Johnny, your little argument and not sharing is unacceptable. She needs to work on her terminology. Girl, two people were brutally murdered, okay? And other two, one was brutally injured, shot 3 times, and the other lady, she's just so emotionally wounded and traumatized. And I highly doubt that they were even given any food for those 3 days. They were starved too, more than likely. Probably given, I don't even think they was given anything, you know? So for her to just come with this little, oh, this is unacceptable. Girl, bye. Sometimes the stuff that they be saying sometimes, I'm like, do you guys hear yourself speaking? Like, these people were murdered. You need to come with more dramatic terminology than just that. Sorry, y'all. I had to comment on that because I've been wanting to comment on that for a couple of videos I've done so far, and I just haven't said anything, but I had to get that out of my system. It's out now. Let's move on. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said in a statement Tuesday at the Department that the Department of Justice will do everything in their power to hold those responsible for the attack to the account. I'm just not having much faith in them at this point, so I don't know if I believe them. Because y'all already know they always come with these strong words of, we're going to do everything in our power. They said the same thing when Shanquella got unalived. They were like, the FBI was like, we're going to work everything in our power. And 5 months later, not a peep, not a squeak, nothing. Just makes me so angry. I feel like, Ben Crump needs to keep pushing until they actually do something, because this is frustrating. Okay. Just frustrating, y'all. So that was some of the details, y'all. Some of it, I feel like we got a lot more details about, what was going on. And I do want to, show another picture here, a clearer picture of the victims involved, because now I have the picture of Zindell Brown. So here's the clearer picture of the victims, all of them here on the screen. Oh man, Zindell has passed away. May his soul rest in peace. He was the one that had the bad instinct. He knew something was wrong, y'all. He said maybe we shouldn't go. He didn't want to go. His sister had that vision in her mind that something was going to happen. They knew it. He knew it, guys, and he died. That is so sad. And sweet Shaeed Woodard died too. And he's got kids too, allegedly. I think he's the one that has the stepkids. He has the stepkids and the girlfriend. And he was very heroic in that he, took on these kids that weren't his own and made them his. That's pretty heroic to me. I see that as a hero, because he loved these kids like they were his own, to the point where the stepkid was calling him daddy when he was when he wrote that letter on Facebook saying, come home, daddy. That's pretty amazing. That shows the character of this man. Pretty amazing man to have to die like this. But again, no matter how amazing people are, we got to make good decisions. And the thing is, they went there last year. She did, allegedly. McGee, Latavius, I can't say this girl's name, man. We need to get more easy names. I'm with Kirk Franklin. I don't know if y'all heard from Kirk Franklin recently. He said, bring back the real names. We need to bring back the real names, because these names like Latavius, Shaeed, I cannot pronounce these people's names. I'm sorry. It's taking me out. Just give me a simple name like Kelly or Shelly or something. Anyway, so Miss Latavius, or whatever her name is, She went there last year, so she thought everything was going to be all dandy. But you can't always go to places with your guard down because you just never know. Things are always changing. Things are always evolving. That's why I think this is a good case to talk about because you just never know. Now, I do want to show you a picture, though, guys, of Latavis. Is that if that's how you say her name? Don't judge me. I'm trying to say this girl's name with all my might, but I just can't. Look here, guys. This is how she looked when she was found with this green on. Look at her face. She looked like she saw a ghost. And they gave her some water. They were, look at here, they were taking bandages off of her right there. They're removing bandages from her. Look at her face. Like her face is, to me, it's like the emotions in that picture just says it all of how she is feeling. Oh my gosh. It's like she saw a straight ghost, y'all. A straight ghost. That is so sad. I bet she learns to bet you. Now they said that they use drones at the drug cartel, that they use drones to watch the border too. So this sounds like they had been surveying them for a hot minute and they used drones and they saw this car and they were like, car coming in, got American license plates. Da, 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 da. And let me show you this picture of this little scrawny guy who was see, look at her, guys. Look how her face. She looked just all like she saw a straight ghost, y'all. She looked so scared. But let me show you the little dude here who got arrested. The one they just the sacrifice. Allegedly, this is the one that was allegedly watching him. Now look how little and scrawny he is. Look at his little baby legs. I mean, his baby shoes. It looked like that's a size 3. I don't know, size 4. Who is he guarding, guys? Who is he protecting? Look how little he looked. They could have overpowered him. Okay, that's why I feel like he was the scapegoat. He was just the little fall guy because he looked so scrawny. Who was he protecting? That girl could have Latavis could have took him out. So it looked like he was the fall guy, even looking at the location of the area right behind the police cordon. Yeah, this looked like a straight fall guy, and this was all like orchestrated when they were trying to do the transaction. That's why you notice only one person. Look how little he is. He's so little. This is Jose Guadalupe, the 24-year-old that they arrested. He looked like a little kid. Is he really a man? That looked like this kid looked like a 13-year-old kid, but they said he's 24. It looks so little. He's definitely a fall guy, in my opinion. That was the guy arrested. And here is the shed. This is that more close-up images of the shed where they were found by the police area. That's why I feel like it was planned drop-off area and a planned transaction over there. We already saw these of the press conference. Here's the ambulance that they were transporting them in, when they were getting them to the different areas. This was the actual ambulance that they were in. So that, man, guys, crazy. I feel sad for Zendel, though. For some reason, I can't stop thinking about Zendel because Zendel knew this was going to happen. He was not feeling it. He didn't even want to go. He was trying to talk himself out of it. And guys, Lord and behold, man, this is so sad, dude. I bet she should feel bad for what she should feel ashamed of herself. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be getting mad at her, but I'm like, girl, if you would have just got your tummy tuck here, everybody would have been okay. I know y'all don't want to pay the money, but it's worth it. It is worth it. And at the end of the day, if you don't change certain habits in your life, you're still going to have the same problem. So she should have just changed her lifestyle. Now people that she loved, that she's really close. Oh, what's all these pop-ups doing, man? All these pop-ups everywhere, y'all. We can't even. And we saw this video before. This is her in the back of the ambulance. Just look at her face, y'all. I don't think I'm sharing the screen. Am I? Yeah, I'm not even sharing the screen. Her face just says it all. Her face, it's like I'm seeing a ghost when I see her face, because you could just see the terror. She is like terrified. Like you can't even imagine how terrified she is. That is crazy. Just crazy. So these are some of the updates in the case, you guys. Oh my gosh. I'm just at least happy that 2 of them are alive. You know, that, especially knowing that they have kids, and this woman is a mother of 5 children. Yeah, those kids need her. They need her in their life. So I'm really happy God kept some of them alive. Thank you, Jesus. Right, like A. Nicole says, she is completely traumatized, will never be the same. Exactly. She's never going to be the same, y'all. Never. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sonica. Sonica says that Eric might more than likely had a morphine drip. Okay. Because I was like, why is he so calm? He was just so... If I was shot 3 times, I'm thinking he would have been in some severe pain. I mean, let's play that video one more time before we head out. When you look at this video, he just looked... Yeah, you seen how calm he was? Maybe Sakina is right that he probably had a morphine drip, because I was just like, why did he just seem so calm? Shot 3 times? And they said he was severely injured, but he looked like he don't look injured to me. But maybe Sonica's right. He might have been on some real heavy painkillers. And I heard Mexico has that good stuff over there that's really affordable. So who knows, guys? Right. Lakeisha said, oh my God, what took place inside of that small house? Girl, you don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. But that woman's face tells it all. Latavia's face is like her face is like, her facial expression looks like the look of terror. I don't think I've ever seen anyone look like that look of terror like that in real life. The way she looked in her face, y'all. Yeah, she looked like she was really traumatized during those 3 days. They put them people through some stuff. And not only that, but during the time they're being transported, having to see 2 of their close friends dead, lying next to them. Dead. Lying next to them, y'all. That is the traumatizing part. And here's another video. I mean, this picture right here, guys, it's just the back of her. But I'm trying to get some live images of the whole situation. So I found this picture here. This is her standing out here when she was rescued from the shed here. This is that small, little tiny itty bitty shed that they just kind of went over there. They planned this all out to go over here, right? And this is where all the officers are, and they had rescued her, and she's standing out of the shed. Look at her clothes all dirtied up. And, they gave her something to drink here. And she's standing out here with the ambulance here, and they're getting all the bodies and stuff, at least the 2 bodies and stuff in around here. So I found that. But, man, isn't that crazy, y'all? Crazy. Her face. Oh, my God. Guys, I wish I could show you this, but I can't. It is so sad, y'all. So I'm just going to describe what I seen, and I'm probably going to have to put it as a link I'll put it as a link in the description so if you want to see it, but I'm going to let you know it's very horrific. They have an actual photo, y'all, an actual photo inside the shed of one of the deceased bodies, bloated, laying there, right? And then they have another body of Eric. He's laying there with his injured legs, and he doesn't even look like he has clothes on. It don't look like he has clothes on, but they got the bodies in there. They got him laying in there. They got a photo, guys. Can you believe this? These people don't have no respect. They taking photos of these people in the shed, y'all. I'm gonna give you guys, I'm gonna put it in the description just in case people actually want to see. I'm letting you know right now, it is very, very graphic. They at least blurred out the deceased face, so you're not gonna see him, but you can tell there's a body there that's just blurred out. That is crazy, y'all. That is crazy that they actually show stuff like this online. Well, it did happen in Mexico. They don't seem to care. They don't have much discretion. My gosh, I can't believe that's online. That is sad. When you see a picture like that, it really makes you see the reality of what really happened. And I'm sorry I'm having to describe it to you guys. I know y'all probably want to see it, but you know how YouTube don't let us post certain things. So unfortunately, now I'm trying to get a full body of that picture of the young lady. But they blurred out her face. I don't know why they did that. Why they blur out her face like that? Oh my God. This picture is so sad. When you see the picture, it's just like it puts things into context. It's like, wow, these people went through it. And she had to be, the thing that makes it so traumatizing too for this young lady is she had to literally be inside a shed. One of her close friends, both legs shot up, right? They kind of muffled her face here while she's sitting in the ambulance, but this is an image of her in the ambulance here. But they had to sit there. She had to sit in the shed, sleep in that shed with one of her close friends deceased inside of the shed while the other one shot up. And the other deceased person that she loved and cared about, grew up with, dead outside. And you gotta be around with the people you love, deceased, being tossed around like cargo to different places. Oh yeah, this woman is traumatized. This woman is never going to be the same. I don't even know how she's going to be when she gets back with her kids. Like, is she going to even be able to like function? And then I wonder too, guys, you think they're going to do an interview? Are we going to be able to hear from them to tell us what happened? They might, after she recovers from all this trauma, I wouldn't be surprised if she actually does an interview. What do you guys think? You guys think she's going to do an interview? Y'all let me know in the chat if you guys think she will do an interview and tell us what happened. Oh my gosh, this is so sad, y'all. This story just, for me, it really helps me realize, y'all, and this is why I've been telling y'all for a while, is that we do need to boycott Mexico. You guys should not be going to Mexico after this. You should not. Okay, now I'm going to show you a better picture of this photo. So I showed you this photo here. This is a live photo of her sitting in the ambulance, and here's all the authorities here guarding her and all this stuff. But again, to me, I don't even trust those authorities. They all got paid, y'all. You know how the Mexican authorities work. There's money involved. That's why they're being so nice and protecting of her. But here's Latavia right here. One of the 4 Americans kidnapped into Mexico found safely. Here is an image of her right here. And her face, y'all, it looked like she saw a straight ghost. Look at her. And you know they had to give her water because she probably wasn't given anything for those 3 days. So they knew that she was already dehydrated. So That's why they probably gave her that water, because she was probably thirsty as heck. If you haven't drank anything, ate anything in 3 days, and then like here, I showed you guys this picture before, but I wanted to show you this because this gives you this picture gives you a full body image of it. But if you look here, you look at this, this officer here is removing the bandages. Her hands were tied up. Oh, that makes sense though. Why she probably wouldn't have ambushed that little small 24-year-old Mexican guy we saw. He looked like a little child with his little small feet, because she was tied up. That makes sense. But still, look at her face, y'all. She looked like she saw a ghost. Look at her, because she had to see her dead friends there next to her. That is messed up. Neighborhood Talk says she's obviously distraught over the entire situation. We will continue to give y'all more updates as it comes. Let's see what these people have to say in the chat. The comments, because I like what people have to say. They said travel to Mexico right now needs to be halted. These type of cases are adding up. They are. I've been telling y'all know I've been covering these Mexico cases, and now I got a playlist because it's just getting too many. And there's another one that I'm about to cover recently that just happened over there too. It's just way too many cases. And they said, we will still wait on what they plan to do in Shaquilla. They said, we still waiting on what they plan to do in the Shaquilla Robinson case. Like, y'all need to boycott, #boycott Mexico. We need to do a campaign. And I need all my subscribers, if y'all watch a video, to put in the chat, #boycott Mexico. We should not be going to Mexico. Look what they're doing with the Shaquilla case. Look what's happening to all these different Americans going over there getting killed, shot up. Luckily, this is somewhat of a good and bad case where 2 are alive and 1 aren't. 2 are alive and 2 are not alive. Oh, that's sad. So now what will the Mexican government do to protect travelers going there for business or personal reasons? Now this takes a hit to tourism in that country. Prayers to the victims and their families. Yet again, people should be able to go out of the country and feel safe. Well, not necessarily. We're not entitled to anything. Once you leave the U.S., you're just on your own. I'm just saying, you need to do your research before you go out of the state, because the travel advisory is going to let you know. Okay. I know you want to be safe, but that's that mindset of entitlement. See, in America, we get so many privileges here that we just think we're spoiled. And so when we go to other countries, we think we're supposed to be afforded the same protections. No, honey, you got to do your research and you got to make sure that the areas you're going to is safe. Okay. This person said, I can't imagine what she's going through right now, sending love and healing energy to the families. This says, appears to be distraught. She was kidnapped and lost 2 friends. She is distraught. Right. She looked like she saw a straight ghost. Just imagining having to sleep in there with no water, no food, probably rats and all these bugs and roaches crawling around, because now it's been 3 days and these 2 bodies have been deceased for 3 days. So what do you think's happening? Decomposition. So when decomposition happens, you got rodents coming in there, maggots, roaches, everything coming in to eat up that body. And she's sitting there in that freaking place, seeing the people she loves being just dying. I mean, not dying, but dead. People she loved and she grew up with. People she felt was her family. And one of them was her actually blood family, was her cousin. Of course she's distraught. This poor woman is never going to be the same. Yeah, she gonna need a lot of therapy and all kind of stuff. She never going back to Mexico. I better believe that she ain't going to Mexico. She probably not gonna get one of them BBLs anymore. She like, forget the BBL. By the time she get through all this stress, she gonna lose all that weight. She gonna get a natural, not a BBL. She gonna get a natural tummy tuck, because she ain't gonna be eating nothing. That girl gonna go through so much stress trying to get over this trauma. Poor girl. Oh, they said, y'all going to Mexico to save money on these surgeries, but are y'all thinking about saving you and your friend's life? But y'all don't want to have this conversation. Now, we shouldn't make fun of this girl, and we should not be bashing her. She is already traumatized enough. So I just don't think people should be coming for her. Just leave her alone. Show her love and empathy. Stop. I feel sad for this woman, because there's so many ignorant people out there that are probably going to try to come for her. And it's so messed up. She needs all the love and empathy and care she can get. This woman has been through enough. That is the punishment alone. Losing 2 people you love so much. You got to watch them Their bodies basically decompose in front of you while maggots and roaches and all these kind of rodents coming in there. And not only that, but they're picking up these bodies, throwing them around like they're cargo to different places, and then not being able to eat or drink. And then you don't understand what these people are saying and how they're treating you like you're a piece of trash and tied you up and all that. Yeah, they've been through some stuff. This person says, I'm not telling y'all not to travel, but Black people, please make sure you research as much as you can before you go somewhere. Look up the crime statistics for the city you're going to. Check the federal government website to see if that city is on the do not travel list. Look up the economic situation for the city. Typically, if there is a lot of poverty there will be lots of violent crimes. Look up the kidnapping rates and in which area it typically occurs. Go at least a month back and read local articles and see what the F is going on in the city. A lot of times, local news will report on unrest related to gangs, etc. Yes, this seems tedious, but being able to make an informed decision about where you're going could be your choice between life and death. This person right here, Brand Me, man, I couldn't have said it any better. This person right here, y'all need to listen up to Brand Me because she gave straight facts. And you guys should follow her instructions here because it's definitely some good advice she gave. Not only look at the travel advisory, but read the local articles over there, see what's going on a month back, see what's really going on because it's a matter of life and death. Don't you value your life enough? Now, people going in here talking about, please, people love your body and stuff. Just leave the girl alone. Leave her alone. Look at her face. She's been through enough. She don't need y'all bashing her. She does not need y'all bashing her right now. This person said, this is so sad, makes you not want to travel out. Right. Shoot, made me not want to go nowhere. I'm just saying, y'all. So let me know what you guys think about this. This is just crazy, isn't it, guys? They said, I don't believe that one. She said, our mamas have to be creative with the names, girl. I know they do, girl. We be doing too much in our community, man. We be doing too much. I'm so glad my mom didn't do that. Thank you, Lord. I'm glad she didn't give me Shaquanda or Bonanica because the teachers be having a problem with it. The kids be having a problem trying to figure out how to spell their name. I feel sorry for them poor babies in class trying to figure out how to spell Shaquanda Niqua. Come on now. Y'all, I know we want to be so unique and beautiful and all this stuff. But I'm kind of with Kirk Franklin right now. We need to come back to those basic names like Paul and John, Peter, James, and John in the sailboat. Just saying. Because y'all got me over here struggling trying to figure out how to say these people's names. And I'm just looking like a complete fool over here trying to figure out how to say Latavis and Shaid and all this stuff. And I'm like, Jesus, help a sister out. But I want you to, I get it, Nicole. We do have to be creative with our name. We do. I think my mama didn't do that, though. She gave us all basic names for real. I'm glad she did. I'm glad because nobody has any problem saying my name. And Nicole says she's completely traumatized. Will never be the same. I know. Poor baby, man. Y'all, and I hope y'all leave this girl alone. Please, if y'all my subscribers, please don't mess with her. Please don't mess with this girl. She's been through enough. She's been punished enough. Leave her alone. She's going to get a natural tummy tuck because I'm telling y'all, she's not going to be eating for a long time. She's just going to be too traumatized. This poor baby, she ain't going to know what to do. And in the Black community, they don't usually want to get counseling. I hope that she does get counseling, though. I hope she doesn't let her pride get the best of her. I hope she gets counseling because, in the Black community, we want to act like, oh, we invincible. We don't want to get counseling. I really hope somehow somebody talks her into getting therapy. I pray because she really is going to need it. I really pray for her. I know she probably does feel guilty. Poor baby. She's probably beating herself up when in reality, it's really not her fault, man. Okay, Joseph does think she's going to do an interview. Oh, I am looking forward to that, Joseph. Okay, y'all I hope you are right, Joseph, because I would love to hear what she has to say. Hi, Benjamin. Benjamin says, why don't people hear State Department warnings on Mexico? I just don't get it, Queen Esquire. Man, human beings are stubborn. Jeez. I'm with you. I am with you, Benjamin. But this is going to change the way we do things, y'all. We have to research before you guys leave out of the country. I don't care where you go. You might have went to Dominican or whatever. You might have went to Jamaica last year and everything was fine, smooth sailing. You was good. No, every time you go to a country, I don't care if you've been there 10 times, make sure you check that travel advisory, okay? Because things can change in a matter of seconds. Look how quickly things changed in this case. So before they started heading out, everything was good in that area, right? Not really good, but you know what I mean? It wasn't on the travel advisory when they first set out on this trip. Well, the very day they start heading into the border is when the U.S. updates their travel advisory and to a level 4 in that area and says, level 4, don't go to Thermopolis, don't go to this area. You see how fast things changed? When they and the fact that they had went there last year, so she wasn't really too bothered to go. That's why I'm saying, like, you got to do your research. Times have really changed, and we're just living in a very dark period in society as it is, with all the crazy shootings, people being unalived left and right, y'all, men taking their women out when they don't want to be with them anymore. It's just crazy. And that's all happening in the United States. So just imagine it's happening all over the freaking world, y'all. So we can't just think we can just get up and leave like we're entitled. We have to do research. Y'all got to check because your life is important and you want to live. You want to live. Yeah, I do remember that carbon monoxide case. I actually covered that case, love. I did a story on that regarding the carbon monoxide poisoning that happened in Mexico. That was Mexico. Yes, it was, honey. There were two different group of people that were victimized by the carbon monoxide. It was the black crew. They went there for like a birthday party. There was like 4 of them, I think, that went, and they ended up deceased. But there was also a white group of individuals that went there, y'all. Nobody knew about this case. They talked a lot about the black group that went, but there was another group of people that went too. And nobody's really covering that case, which is sad. See, I told you there's a lot more cases out there that are not getting publicity. Y'all think it's just the cases in the news. No, there's a lot of cases. So there was this other case. This young lady went with her family members to an Airbnb. She was Caucasian. And she went there. And I covered this on another video. So you have to go to the playlist about Mexico and you'll have to watch that video. Because in that video, it talks about another young lady who went there with her family. And she died too because of carbon monoxide in the Airbnb. So that's happening over there a lot too, with that whole carbon monoxide poisoning. Like this, I cannot pronounce your name, honey. Y'all coming with these names. Y'all be doing this on purpose to have me over here struggling. Y'all ain't right. I'm gonna call you AB, like AB just said. Okay, AB just say it. Thank you, AB. Benjamin says the autopsy and police don't match. Right, they embarrassed to admit it. Right, Benjamin, say that. Our local and state federal law enforcement really wants solid evidence. It's good, but it also be hard for us to bear. Right, that is true. You are right about the Shaqualla case, that the police and all the evidence was all shanky and weak. It is true. It is true, but we have that video footage, right? And you know the FBI did do their own autopsy, because way back when this case was unfolding with Shaqualla, Shaqualla's father did an interview with NCB, and he said during that interview that before they were going to bury Shaqualla, that the FBI wanted to preserve her body first so that they could do their own autopsy on her body. So they would have done their own autopsy anyway to refute whatever discrepancies that was going on with the autopsy. And now that police report was all sketchy too, but guys, come on, Benjamin. They've had 5 months. They got a whole video. They did their own autopsy. In 5 months, you mean to tell me they still can't issue an arrest? I don't know, Benjamin. I'm still having questions. I think they're dropping the ball. That's just my opinion. All this for a BBO to save a couple of thousand, girl. And it wasn't, I mean, Joseph, it wasn't even a BBO. I was wrong about that. It was I wasn't wrong about that. Sorry. NC Beat was wrong about that, because NC Beat was the one that reported that it was a BBL. It actually was a tummy tuck. She was trying to get her tummy tuck so she could be snatched to the gods. But, you know, trying to save that money, she should have just went to LA, y'all, because LA got the best surgeons over there. I know they cost a lot of money, but if you're trying to get that type of surgery, you need to get it done. You need to get it done. Benjamin said, thanks for the Comic letter. You did it with decent intentions. People must remember Mexican federal does not have full control over the whole country. Cartels have as much power as the government. Exactly. I agree, Benjamin. They do. They do. They're all working together. They are all working together. This case is just so sad, man. This case got me so heartbroken. It really does. Uh-oh, AB, I hope you're not sad and mad at me. I'm sorry. I tried to say your name, love, but it's so hard to say your name. They have an uneasy power agreement. They do, you guys. My gosh, this case just really made me so heartbroken. But I am very happy that at least to know that two of them are alive. Because yesterday, I gotta admit, when I first heard the case, I wasn't too hopeful. But I was really distraught knowing that this young lady has kids, and now to know she has 5 kids and Eric has kids and a whole entire wife. I'm just happy they're alive, but I'm still at the same time sad that 2 had to die. All right, guys, take care. Love you. Let me know what you think about this very sad story.